Hey, it's Kevin Carney from Display Supply and Lighting. Just going to do a quick demo on how to do simple programs to the Easy Standalone controller. So the first thing that you're going to need is the software if you haven't downloaded it already. You'll just have to go to Google. You can search ESA2, which is the name of the software that we're going to be using. ESA2 is made by Nicolotti, so this is the right place to go. And then from here, you can download ESA2 for Mac or ESA2 for PC, depending on what you're running. I'm going to spare you all the install stuff, but just know that the drivers will be installed for your controller when you do the install. So I'm just going to go up here and launch ESA2. And it has detected my interface on the USB. And I'm going to keep USB clicked here. So what this allows us to do is write shows to that controller that is on the USB, and it also enables us to view what's going on live. So what I'm going to do is make this so you can see the whole thing. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do is tell the software what DMX addresses we want to control, and this has to do with how your DMX interface is set up. For your DMX interface, if all of the dip switches are off, then it automatically uses 1, 2, 3, 4 to control channels 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to our library, our fixture library, and use just a generic single channel fixture. You have to scroll down a little bit to find it, but here it is, single channel fixture, and we're going to pull one of them into channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and channel 4. I forget exactly which channels your LED tape is on, but I believe you have 4 channels worth of it on there. But either way, I'll show you how to do all 4 channels just to be safe. So here we are. Our DMX universe has 4 channels in it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the editor tab in here. It already created a new scene for us when we started. So what we're going to do now is we can take within that scene, you'll see down in our DMX universe down here that it has created channels because we've pulled fixtures into these channels. And now if I take this fader and pull it up, I am physically seeing my lights dim and raise up. So that's channel 1, lights on channel 2, lights on channel 3, lights on channel 4. And now you'll notice up here, when I moved this fader, it gave me a value, and that value is between 0 and 255. You can change this in the setup up here in the view to be a percentage if you want to. I keep it from 0 to 255 because you have more resolution that way, because you have steps between 0 and 1%. So for example, so what you're doing, you want it to be extremely detailed down in this lower end, and it's kind of hard just with your mouse to get that to click right onto 1. So what you're probably going to end up doing, you can just double click on there and type a value in. It can be 1, it can be whatever you want to, anything between 0 and 255, whatever you want it to be. So what we're doing right now, because this scene up here is highlighted, what we're doing right now is affecting that scene. So I'm going to go ahead and create some sort of a value that, say, that looks good on your tape or whatever it is. So what I can do is double click on the scene name and just rename this scene 1 or whatever makes sense to you. And then moving on, I want to do a new scene. I just hit this page plus button up here and a new scene shows up, and you'll notice that when that new scene shows up, all my values reset to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and make this full and just set all of my LED tape up to 100, and then say I want to create a scene at half. I can just double click that and change the name of it. We're in that new scene, so all the values ended up at 0. So now half, I'm going to call half 150, even though it's not quite half, but I'll just do this. So now all 4 channels are at half. You don't have to have all 4 channels doing the same thing. They can be doing different things. And now you'll notice that as I click through these scenes up here, my values are changing down at the bottom because those scenes are being saved. And I'll go ahead and do one more and call it like, value 2. And then I'll go through here and just change all these values to 2. So it's 2 out of 255 intensity. So we've created these scenes. Looks good, right? Now what we need to do, we can do one of two things. We can test them live, or we can just write them to the controller. I suggest testing them. Why not? So if you go to the live tab up here, basically you can just choose your scene, and it will happen on the lights just as it was when you were doing it in the editor over here. It's just a different way of doing it. This is helpful if you have one scene that is feeding into another scene, so you can tell it to go play scene 1 and then automatically go to scene 2, then automatically go to full, then automatically go to half if you want to. This is mostly to test that, but for what we're doing, just hitting single values, that's all we really need to do. We don't really need to test so much. So now to load it to the controller, we're going to go up to this standalone tab on the top right and write memory. That's all you need to do. Write memory. And over here it says memory written successfully. Click OK, and now you can unplug the USB from the computer and plug it in to the wall outlet that's provided. And then looking at the graphic of the controller over here, this top one is the up button, this middle one is the down button, and this other one is a function button. The top one, if you hit plus, it will toggle through all of the scenes that we created. So we have 4 scenes in here right now. So it starts on scene 1, and then you push this button, and it'll go to scene 2, go to scene 3, go to scene 4. And that's really all there is to it. If you want to test that out without unplugging your controller from the computer, you hit the test button, and what it does is it kicks the controller off of the USB so that you can use just the controller and toggle through all of those scenes and make sure that it's working. So basically it stops it from being controlled by the software, and it just powers it up as if you were plugged into an outlet. So that's really it. And then if you want to save what you've done, you just come up to File, Save As, just like you would with any other file in Windows or Mac, and save it in a place that makes sense to you so that you can bring it up later. That's all there really is to it. So if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to give me a call or send me an email. Thank you.